name is Debbie Brown. I am a longtime Angleton Chamber member and volunteer, and so I'm helping out today with our candidates that are running for public office here in Angleton. I have a few questions to help you guys as you're trying to figure out who you're going to vote for. We just have some questions. I'm going to be visiting with one of our candidates today. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Larry Shaefer. I'm running for council position number 4. And I do have a website, which is larryforcouncil.com, and a Facebook page, Larry for Council. And the campaign website is larryforcouncil.com, and it's used number 4.
Okay, that's very good. That's easy to figure out.
Yeah.
We are going to have this information on the website where you're watching now. So if you need to look up more on Mr. Shaefer or want to visit or send him an email or Facebook, then they'll have that information at your fingertips. So we'll make sure to get that on there for you. So ready to dive in?
I'm ready.
All right. Let's see. For our first one, why, in your opinion, are you qualified for this position? What sets you apart from other candidates in this race, especially as it pertains to interests of business and small business owners?
Well, I'm a business owner. I've been a business owner for 40 plus years, 50 years now, of multiple businesses, most of them in Houston until we moved to Angleton here about 10 years ago. Still have several businesses here, mainly in the communications business. I worked a few years ago on the Freeport EDC on the Marina Completion Committee to get the marina open. As we know, it was a rather troubled project, but it's open, making money now.
Fabulous.
I was appointed to the BWA as the Angleton rep for about 3 years, and I've been in other committees in Harris County involved both in and for the government and representing people to the government. So I do have some experience in government.
It sounds like it. Great. How important is it for the city to purchase items and services from local vendors? How committed to the shop local motto are you, and what have you done to encourage the city and its citizens to keep their tax dollars here in Angleton?
Locals should get first consideration.
Right.
My favorite office supply is King Dollar for $1. I think the city should circulate a list of goods and services to all businesses to be used as a reference guide to see what they really solve. Most people don't realize that, for instance, Dollar Tree or King Dollar sells pens and paper and office supplies cheaper than your traditional office supply store. So I think that's a problem. You need a reference list.
Mm-hmm. Great. What do you see as Angleton's greatest challenges in the next decade, and how can you, as an elected official, help face those challenges?
My opinion is that the biggest problem Angleton has is acting like the county seat. It is a county seat, but it has trouble understanding that. Angleton needs to be a leader and actively seek the opinions from citizens and businesses before you act. We had a 290-page zoning ordinance done a few years ago that my prediction is we'll be seeing variances for the next 20 years. And sure enough, almost every agenda has a variance because we didn't ask before.
Okay, great. All right. How do you plan to familiarize yourself with issues that come before the council that would specifically affect or regulate business?
Well, firstly, I read the agenda now, and I read the supporting documents. Sometimes there's 100 pages of documents, of budget information, things from the various divisions of the city. So I think that's important. Some people don't have that time. I think you, as a council member, I would call the affected parties before council meets or planning and zoning and talk to them first. I think it's a lot easier to do than undo. We've seen undo here a number of times. Okay.
In the past, Angleton has lost small business and development opportunities to other communities. What steps would you take to make the process less cumbersome and make Angleton more inviting to those who wish to invest here?
That is a problem. I have compiled here for the election this year a list of 57, found a new one yesterday, 58 vacant commercial properties in Angleton. Storefronts, the subway centers, the old IBC building. We've got a lot of vacant buildings for a town of 16,000 population. I asked the city how many businesses. It takes them 10 days to reply. It'll be a while. I think we need better permitting and communications with these people, these potential investors. One thing would be a better website and a web-based brochure by business type. The fact that you have 57 vacants doesn't mean that some people would want to be in a center, some people would be in a standalone. You need to provide that information of what by business type, general type.
Okay. Describe the models, tools, incentives that you've seen in other communities in Texas that they're using successfully that you would support to encourage business, including job creation and retention in Angleton and boost economic development. Do you believe we could benefit by watching what the other cities are doing?
It's easier to follow, that is true. The 380 development that was passed recently and that Freeport's working on is a good program. Again, a developer webpage would be so helpful to navigate the various permits required and the various ordinances and where to find them. Make it easier for developers and business owners, potential owners, to see what's in store for them. I think it would be extremely helpful to publish sales tax figures by business type. I've tried to get that from the comptroller. It'll be a while, but it's available. They do break it down. I think that would be extremely helpful to say what sort of businesses are producing what sort of sales tax. If somebody's really doing well, maybe I want to be a competitor, or maybe not. Maybe I would say no, but I think you need that information.
Great. Very thorough. In your discussion with voters, what concern or issue has been raised that has surprised you the most? What are your suggestions for dealing with that issue?
Probably one of our largest. We see all this stories all the time about infrastructure. I had a gentleman catch me at Whataburger the other day and say, "Could you follow me home?" Sure. His sewer lines are falling in. The city's sewer lines are collapsing. That's going to be a real problem to fix soon. That was a surprise, and it's on the east end of town. I'd always assumed it was out on the west end. Sure enough, that's a problem. One suggestion I have is that we have a town hall meetings quarterly at the rec center, and you can have separate ones for businesses or separate ones for residences. I think it would be a good idea to have these. For instance, one of the biggest messes we've had is this 288 business median mess that it's dangerous. If you're coming north on 288 and want to turn into Lubentune or Whataburger, you better be really careful because you're going to get run over. I understood that street was Velasco was going to be diverted, not happening. Or there's not even a yield sign there. We, for instance, the city, some businesses asked me to put together a petition. Got 250 local signatures on this petition over the past several months about we need to re-engineer the median. I presented to county commissioners, and Mr. newly elected Judge Matt Sebesta says it's not our problem. I've taken it to Angleton City Council, and well, we're working on it. We'll get back to you. I believe those are some real safety and business issues. If you've been down 288, watch out for the U-turns because you can get broadsided.
All right. How would you improve the operation and efficiency of the Office of Mayor and Council? How do you view the relationship between the business community in Angleton and the city? And would you or how would you change that picture? No, that's kind of a three-parter.
It's obviously pretty poor. You got 57 vacant storefronts. So some reason you're losing business. You're losing businesses. You're losing storefronts. I think direct emailing of issues affecting the businesses would be helpful. I asked the city secretary at one time, I understand we publish the agendas on the website. How about starting up an email to say, how about people that have subscribed get it, because that way you don't have to remember, oh my goodness, meetings tonight, I haven't looked. It would cost too much money. Okay. The one problem that would help a lot on these small businesses, stop granting temporary weekend business permits. Over there at China Buffet, there's been 2 instances of a temporary weekend business selling in direct competition with people there in that shopping center from people that are out of state. You don't even know that they're going to get sales taxes. And if there's a defective product, what are you going to do about it? I don't think out of state or even in-state temporary businesses should be granted permits.
Okay. All right. What issues compelled you to run for mayor, council, and where do you stand on them?
Well, of course, one more time, 57 vacant properties. Where I stand is, let's see what's up, where they are, get them on the websites, and see what we can do to help out. They're not only an eyesore, they're a huge tax loss to us, because a business that's not open isn't paying much in the way of taxes, nor is it doing anything towards sales tax. Street lighting. I saw an article in the facts here recently about Angleton's awful dark. Well, I went around and sure enough, just on the main thoroughfare here, there's about 8 or 10 street lights that are out. Downtown on 35, there's 5. The bad news is that we're paying for them. You pay rent per month and you pay electricity because they're not metered. So not only do you not have the benefit of a street light, you're paying for something you're not getting anything from. Personally, I've had real problems with heavy trash pickup and limbs, and I've been approached by 3 different residents saying, what do we got to do to get our heavy trash picked up? And the answer is, you can go on the heavy website and file a complaint, and within a week or 2, they'll come pick them up. There's no place to call and get assistance, and I think that's a problem. I see that there is extremely low respect of citizens and businesses from city staff. A recent issue was that a business was told they had to destroy some products that were, quote, out of date, yet down the street an equal business gets to put them in a shopping cart and sell them at half price. This same citizen is required to produce a driver's license at his store so that a warning citation can be issued. The 288B TxDOT median is really, we're going to lose some businesses. Quite frankly, we're going to lose some businesses because you can't get there from here. You can only get there from one direction versus 2 directions. That's going to have to be worked on. 250 people signed a certificate, and some of these comments aren't real pretty, but they're very true. Fix it.
Great. Well, do you have any, that's all the questions that I have. You've been very thorough, but do you have any additional comments?
One of my real problems with this city is that we're probably the only city that I'm aware of. I've been to Brazoria, I've been to a lot of cities that doesn't have a public prayer at city council. I'm told it was researched back to 1912 and hasn't been a public prayer. We need help, and we certainly need help from the guy up above. I think it's time. There was an issue a few years ago, a trial, and it was 4-3. I think it needs to be unanimous. Thank you.
All right. Well, we sure appreciate your service. Thank you for your time. And again, we'll have all the information for Mr. Shaefer where you're looking on the website now. And he's here if you need to speak with him, email, Facebook, and you've got his web information. Thank you for tuning in.